Hello everybody, AZ Flyer here, and we are continuing with the setup of our Zeus EDF on a Spectrum radio. The good news is the setup in the transmitter is exactly the same whether you're using a multi-module protocol or an FrSky receiver, so it's exactly the same process inside the radio. But it's good to kind of go through it so everybody can kind of see how this works. And so I'm going to do my best to demo it and show it to you. So one interesting point to understand, Spectrum uses a certain setup of channels to control services. Anybody who's flown Spectrum knows channel 1 is throttle, 2 is aileron, 3 is elevator, 4 is rudder, 5 is gear, 6 is flaps. FrSky does not use the same arrangement, but the module converts that for you, which is wonderful. So you don't have to mess with channels 1 through 4. Just leave them alone. They're already set up in here in your transmitter when you create a new model. That's already going to be assigned, and the protocol module will do that conversion for you, or the radio and the module do that conversion for you. With gear and flaps, though, you're going to need to assign them to a channel and tell it what channel you want. And so we're going to show you how to do that in here. The way my brain works, I just kind of like gear on 5 and flaps on 6. So when I'm doing a Spectrum model, I just do that and it's no problem. So we're going to show you how to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the transmitter on and we're going to get it going to our plane. And so here's our Zeus. We're going to tap on the airplane menu. That takes us to all of our adjustments for the aircraft. And you'll see this tile here called Mixer. All of our control services and our settings for our rates, all that kind of stuff is going to happen in the Mixer. So we're going to tap on Mixer and that brings up our menu. Now, when you set up a new airplane, you're not going to have the gear. I've added that in. So you'll see if you set up a new one, you don't have that. But it's the same process as what we're going to do here today. If you want to add one, you just tap on the plus sign and it adds a mix. And I'll have a video on how to actually set up gear. This is all about how to adjust the rates and things like that. So the first thing I want to do is plug in the airplane and get it powered up so it's doing what the transmitter says to do. So let's come under here. We're going to get it turned on. Okay, our airplane's ready to go. I'm going to show you something interesting. If you know how sometimes when you plug in a new airplane, your rates or your gear or something might be backwards, and so you have to go in and reverse the throw. In Spectrum, you remember you go into the transmitter, you say reverse. That's called invert in FrSky. So we're going to show you how to do that in case you run into that. In this case, when I retract my gear, everything should be working fine. But if it's not, we're going to go in and adjust it. So let's go ahead and set that up. So we're going to tap on gear. We're going to go in here to edit, and we're going to see. I don't have it assigned to a switch. We have it gear, active condition, always on, but the source, that is the switch that's going to activate the gear. And what's wonderful about FrSky is you can assign any function to any switch. So a switch could do lots of things simultaneously. I could have one switch do gear, flaps, rates, speed brake. You could have one switch do everything if that's what you want. But I like to keep things on a separate switch. So I'm going to put my gear on this 2-position switch right here. So to assign that, I'm going to come to the source field right here, source. And you'll see when it turns yellow, that means it's selected. So I'm going to select source and just flip the switch. And you'll see I've already called that switch gear. So there is my gear switch. And you can hear the gear starting to move. Just tap off it. Now you see I have gear in there as my input for my landing gear. So now if I hit that button, I should see it start to retract. Now, like we said, if you ever run into it where it's backwards and you need to reverse it, what you want to do is you want to go to the outputs menu. So we're going to back all the way out to the main screen of the airplane menu. We're going to click on outputs, which is the bottom left tile. Click on that. Now you'll see here you've got all of your outputs laid out for you. In gear, I've got on channel 5. So here's my gear right here. I'm going to tap that, and you see there's normal and inverted. I've got it set at normal because it's working right. But if it's backwards, I'm going to want to invert that. So I'm going to click inverted. If I click invert, watch what happens. I'm retracted, but my gear is going to come down. So there's my gear coming down, even though I'm retracted here. So that shows you it's backwards. I want it back to normal. So if it's ever this way, you're gonna wanna go in here and flip that switch until it does what it is you want it to do. So that's how you reverse something should you have something backwards, like your ailerons are moving backwards, your elevator is moving backwards. You can go to the output screen, touch on the control surface and click invert, and that will reverse it. That's just like reversing in Spectrum. So let's go back to the flaps and set up the flaps. So we're gonna go to mixer. Again, that's where we're gonna do all of our rates. Gear's working great, we're gonna leave that alone. And we're gonna tap on flaps. So again, once we tap it again, you're gonna get a little menu. We're gonna hit edit. We're gonna edit, and we can call this whatever we want. So I've already called it flaps. It might be blank. If it is, just tap in there and type in whatever you want it to be. We're gonna be always on. And again, we don't have an input selected. So we're gonna tap on input and you'll notice it's blank right now. So I'm gonna put the input, I wanna put the flaps on this switch because I want all of my switches that I would throw in the air on my left hand. I don't want anything on my right hand, it never comes off the stick in the air. I want everything over here. That's the way I fly. So I'm gonna put so when I've selected that field, whatever switch or knob or I turn is what's gonna assign to those flaps. So I'm gonna put it right here, and you're gonna see, once I flipped it, it said, there you go, that's my flap switch. I've already called that switch flaps. So now it's thinking of flaps. And you can see there's a yellow vertical cursor. As I flip that cursor, if I flip my switch, the cursor moves across the range. And you can see the flaps moving a little bit on the airplane. There's just a little bit of throw going there right now. And again, if it's backwards, I'll go back to my output screen and invert it. But it's working good now. I like to retract, I like to pull towards me to retract. So it's working the way I like it. Push away to extend, pull back to retract. If it's backwards, just go to your output screen, flip it around. But obviously it's not giving me, I'm fully retracted and I'm not all the way up. So I need to do some adjusting in the radio. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is scroll down and give it maximum weight. There's something called weight. So that's saying how much of the radio transmission I want going to the control surface first. Now I want it to get 100% weight. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap on that 30% and dial this all the way to 100 because I want it to get everything that the radio's got to give it. So there's 100%. You can actually go above 100, but I'm gonna stay at 100. So now you'll see when I'm fully retracted, my rate is, my flap is all the way up. But I'm getting lots and lots of flip throw here because I'm getting 100% from the radio to the servos. So now if I want to adjust my throw, that's called creating a curve. I'm getting 100% transmission to the radio. I want to adjust how much throw. That's the curve. You'll notice there's a selection here that says add new curve. I'm going to tap on add new curve. Whoop, I'm sorry. There's already a curve there. There's already a curve there. So we're going to hit this drop down menu and I'm going to call it flaps. That's my curve. Now I'm going to go in and edit it. This is where the fun begins. So here's where I can go in and actually set my flaps for wherever I want them on any different position of my switch. So flaps is already here. If it's not named, you can name it. It's a custom. If it doesn't say custom, dial it up and say custom. And how many points? Well, I've only got a 3-point switch, so I just want 3 points for my curve. So I'm going to tap that 5 and dial that down to 3. Step off. Here's my 3 points for my flap curve. And I like it to be smooth, so I'm going to go ahead and tap that. And then the points configuration. This may be hidden, so just tap it and open it up. Your points configuration is going to tell you where that point is on the curve. So again, if I'm fully retracted, I'm going to come up here. I know that's the bottom one here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that and adjust it. So here you see I'm going to dial it until I get it up all the way retracted. That's where I want it to be. It's 100%. It's fully retracted, and you can see my curve came up. To go to middle rate, do the same thing. Select your middle rate on your switch, dial it to wherever you want. I don't want that much. I want, say, 25% for my takeoff flap. There you go. So fully retracted, takeoff. And then for my landing flap, I'm going to tap that, and I might give it like -15 or something, give it a lot of flap for landing. So I can see landing flap, takeoff, fully retracted. And you can adjust, you can come in and adjust that all you want. That is just the edit your flaps curve. Now, I'd like it to go up and down slowly, right? Rather than just being very harsh like that. So there's a place here where it says slow up, slow down. I'm gonna tap in slow down. I'm gonna give it about 1.5 seconds. So now when I hit the button, it takes about 1.5 seconds to go down. I'm gonna do 1.5 seconds to come up. Now I've got a slow retract and a slow extend. Now, if by any chance I want to change the channel, I can come down here with this output 1. Where am I sending it to? The output is where is this channel on the radio going? I can move it here to different channels. Again, I will put it on channel 6 because that's where I like it to be. But if I want to put it in a different channel on my radio, I can do that as well. So there you go. That's how to set up flaps with a basic curve and gear and reverse the throw. In the next video, we'll do a elevator to flap mix, so you can have your elevator go up and down depending on what you need. And we'll take it from there. So again, throw comments in the section if you have anything. And thanks for watching.